Dear Venerable Sisters, Dhamma friends, we are going to start the day's question and answer session. We'll hand over the mic to Ananda to start the session, please.
Thank you, Bhante. And, before the actual Q&A, there are a couple of very short announcements from the management, and at the request of the retreat manager and Amita. And the very first one is why this screen is here. There will be a short video demonstration on walking meditation in English before starting the Q&A. So I understand it is about 5 to 6 minutes. 5 to 6 minutes. This has been done by the Satipasala organization, which is a very fantastic initiative of Venerable Dhammajiva Maha Thero. So we'll watch that first. And there will be a Sinhala version soon after the Q&A. So I might shift to that. So enjoy the presentation.
Mindful walking. You may already know we can practice to be mindful in any posture, such as sitting down, walking, lying down, or you can be mindful doing any day-to-day activity. But today, let's see how we practice mindful walking. First, we need to find a place to do our mindful walking. You could practice mindful walking indoor or outdoor when the weather permits. Ideally, on a sand or a gravel walking path. You can also do it on a lawn. But today, we'll be using a sand walking path. Make sure you have enough space to walk about 20 to 30 steps up and down comfortably. Walking barefoot is preferred whenever that is practical. To begin with, it's recommended that you do a few rounds of walking back and forth where you choose to do your mindful walking. Walk in a relaxed and natural pace. This will help you to warm up and be ready. Before you begin your session, at the starting point of your walking path, stand still. Keep your arms in a comfortable position by your side, at the back, or in the front. But don't swing the arms to and fro. Be aware that you are about to start mindful walking. From now on, you have no dealings with the outside world. Your only friend is mindfulness. Now for a minute or two, be mindful of your posture. Be aware that you are not sitting down or lying down, but standing up. Note how your feet touch the ground. Feel how your body weight evenly distributes on each of your feet. Keep your eyes open and downcast. Look in the direction of the ground at about 2 meters in front of you, but not anything in particular. Now start walking. Keep a relaxed and natural pace. Let your body knowledge determine the right pace for you. Be mindful that you're walking. Your attention is focused on your lower part of the body. Be attentive to the movement of your feet, the shift from left to right. Note the sensations. What do you feel? Focus on different parts of your soul, heel, arch and toes. Do you feel a difference in hardness, softness, or in temperature in different parts of your soul? When you reach the end of the path, bring both feet together and stand still for a moment. Slowly turn around, being aware that you are turning. It is important that we note the actions and sensations as they occur, not before or after. At any point of this process, if you see or hear something, or you realize that you are not mindful on your walking, that's perfectly fine. Bring your attention back to the process of walking. Note the sensations as your foot touches the ground. Every time you turn, note that you are turning. If thoughts arise, note those, but do not get involved. Don't try to suppress your thoughts. Continue with mindful walking. Relax and enjoy the act of walking. Now it's time to end the walking session. Carry your mindfulness into the sitting session. But remember, slowly, mindfully, and silently. Practice mindful walking at home. Carry your mindfulness into a sitting session. Let others join as well.
Short announcements, there are two short announcements from the management, as I mentioned at the beginning. First one is about the duty rosters, and Ramani, the retreat manager, has had to repeatedly announce every lunchtime last 3 days, and some of you probably may not have heard it clearly. I think that is the way we will attribute it to, and so the management has requested that make the announcement. This retreat is run purely on voluntary basis. All the work has to be done on a voluntary basis, and the management has done an immense task. Having been part of the group for a few years previously, I know how difficult to organize a retreat like this. So unless we all pull our weight together, some things may not get done. So I remember when Maha Thero mentioned a few years ago that how good this center is still maintained after 6 or 7 years. So that is because of the dedication of the volunteers. unless we take ourselves the equal responsibility and leave it to the others. In Sinhala there is Andi Haddenage Kandahaliya, so we don't want that to happen. So please do pull your weight together. I wouldn't go to translate that. That is expecting others to do your share of work. In a sense, you just look the other way. And so do put your name, and if you haven't put anything, at least put for one day, one task. And if you have put only for one, put for another task, another thing. And I have seen on the roster there is one person put their name 5 or 6 times. Those who haven't put could talk to the retreat manager, delete one of those names and put your name. That will be actually an impetus to your meditation, as Bhante has always taught us. And that will, I think there are a number of suttas that it says that if you do nekamma, that is letting go, how best is to let go of your free time, little bit, for the benefit. Okay, thank you. That's the first one. And the second one is again on the retreat organization. That is, when you come to breakfast and lunch, the management is very kindly requesting, please come on time. Because if you come late, instantaneously, habitually, or even on one day, that will put a spanner in the works. You know what I mean by the spanner in the works. So it will delay the process. So the people who are doing voluntary work will be stretched. So please do come on time. We realize that we like to meditate for a longer period, so start a little bit earlier. I think that's the way to go about. Thank you for, didn't mean to talk for that long. Okay. Commercials are finished. Now the normal programs will resume. And Bhante, there are 9 questions today, 8 in English and Sinhalese 1. So these English questions, 2 on walking meditation, 4 on sitting meditation, 1 relating to the retreat Dhamma talk, other one Dhamma technical. Thank you. First question, Bhante. Dear Venerable Dhammajiva, my posture is walking. My primary object of meditation is tactile sensation of my feet on the floor. I am able to quickly focus on my feet and carry on. I do see the floor, hear noises, etc. My mind does not wander and it stays focused on my feet. Am I being mindful? There are other things. Can I continue, or will you?
If you are mindful, you will experience the touch of the ground. 2 surfaces are come together. The external earth element, the ground, and your internal earth element is your foot. When 2 surfaces are touching, what's the kind of experience, what's the kind of touch you feel? The moment you try to put that you experience, the sensation into the report, then immediately you will understand that's the way we can communicate mindfulness in the sense of this act of walking. So that is a lacking part. You clearly explain, you are talking about the walking session, you are talking about the putting the attention to the leg, that's okay. But when you are keeping the leg, see whether it is complete touch of the sole or starting from the heel, or do you feel the hardness or softness, or moving leg with the static earth, or cool earth with the warm leg, or damp earth with the dry leg. All these things are making differences in each and every step. So if you can focus, if you can put them into the report, you will not be entertaining any doubts as I'm mindful or not. So that is the way to verify your mindfulness.
The next part, number 2. When my mind does wander and when I realize that it has happened, I quickly go back to my primary object within a fraction of a second and continue. Am I being mindful? The above happens with sitting meditation too. With metta, There is a name as well.
So soon you come back, if you can explain, how do you know that mind came back to your primary object? That is, again, you have to explain how is the touch, how is the experience, how is the under the nose experience that you left the secondary object and came to the primary object. That touch sensation or experience is the what you can communicate with another person, and then as far as you are communicating with your own experience, there is no chance to entertain doubts whether I am mindful or not. So in both the occasions, fail to fill that cage, that's the experience, that touch sensation. Try to do that also, then your confidence will be increasing gradually.
Comments or questions? As there is none, second question, Bhante. Most Venerable Bhante, my posture is walking. My primary object of meditation is the tactile sensation. Generally, I do a few rounds of focusing in the form of left and right. Then a few rounds of lifting, bringing it forward, and touching, keeping on the floor, within brackets, in Sinhala, osavanawa, genayanawa, tabanawa. Thus, this I move on to focus on the weight shifting of the legs. My questions are, there are 3 questions. Number 1, sometimes after about 2 rounds of focusing on left and right, the mind feels lazy. Is it better to keep doing left and right or move on to the next stage of lifting, bringing it forward, etc.?
Just like the last report, there's no essence, no, the most important part is missing. When you keep the left, what do you feel? When you keep the right leg, what do you feel? This is missing. So therefore, leading to uncertainty. In order to rectify it, each time you have to follow 3 things. You have to tell, now I am going to talk about the walking. The second thing is, I note when I keep the left leg in the ground, I note it as left. The third thing is, what did you come to know? What is your experience? And then I am going to talk about the right leg, I note it as right. When I keep in the right, what did I come to know? Came to know. And experience. So if you continue, it's a very simple thing, appear like a Montessori work, and that is the way you can rectify your doubts. The theory behind is, as far as you are noting and explaining right leg touch and the left leg touch, you are to see discreetly, is there any difference between the right leg touch and the left leg touch? Hardly any difference, for a beginner, definitely. So when you keep on practicing, you can see the characteristics, but unless otherwise you are very sharp, difficult to see the left leg and right leg, not like the in-breath and out-breath. This is a difference sometimes you can find in the walking. But after a while, imagine you are noting lifting, dropping. The lifting action is completely opposite of the dropping. They are definitely, you are bound to see the difference between the lifting action and the dropping action, because they are black and white difference. Earlier you try to see the right leg and left leg difference. Now you try to see the lifting right leg, lifting, dropping right leg. Lifting left leg, dropping leg. There the mind is more exercised, more mobilized, more focused. And if it is yes, if you can see the lifting and dropping as a 2 drastic opposite thing, then you can add lifting, moving, dropping, to give more detailed, discrete understanding about your sensitivity or experience. That's the way you start with very simple thing and slowly increase in the agility of the mind or efficiency of the mind or mobilization of your energy. This is how it goes. So therefore, this is done by Pandita Sayadaw in Burma. And there onward, you have to understand whether you need that kind of a detailed approach or just simply you can be aware when the left is touching and the right is touching, And if you are aware, so to say, you are not sitting, you are not lying down, you are not stand still, you know you are walking, that's where you could start. But it is just enough to embark into the job. But later you must go in more and more mobilization, lifting, dropping, lifting, moving, dropping, like keep on doing. But after a while, once you season the place, once you season, came to know about your proper pace, you can understand even without noting. Mind is not wandering, mind is not listening, hearing, seeing, but with the left leg and the right leg, everything happens in an effortless way. Even without noting, you can do. It's a kind of a advanced stage. So if you are not familiar, if you are not seasoned up to that level, just follow one step, one noting, left, right. One step, two noting, lifting, dropping. One step, three noting, lifting, moving, dropping, in an appropriate way, whatever may be, enhancing your mindfulness.
The next part of the question is it better to follow these 3 stages every time? I think you answered.
It depends. It depends your familiarity with your task and the familiarity of your walking path, and how quickly the mind become mindful. If it is so, too much of noting will be a distraction. So there you can let the effortless walking happen. Make sure you are not sitting, you are not lying down, you are not stand still. You know walking happens. When that happens, you just let the whole system to work and try to keep the track with. So therefore, by practice only or by trial and error only, you will decide what is the most appropriate way to note the walking session, or do it without noting.
Thank you. The third part and the last question is, Venerable Bhante has mentioned a few times about starting every session like a beginner. Is it because then we don't have expectations and we are open to new possibilities / scenarios? I would be very grateful if Venerable Bhante could explain this further with metta.
Fairly, this is the answer, because otherwise, suppose you had a very nice walking, and then you come back sitting, and when you again go there, and if you are supposed to have a very not much aligned, staggered kind of walking, then if you are assuming the continuation of the last one, then you will get discouraged. So if you can start as a beginner, then again you know how to start with ABCD, and then after a while, when the momentum gathered, you can go in par with the last sitting. But even without that, no problem, because you are unassuming, the beginner's mind, and the best source for that is Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind by D.T. Suzuki, and it's a very famous book. Please read. It is, of course, written into the Mahayana tradition, but he has taken a lot of linear, gradual teaching from Theravada tradition, and he used it in a productive way. So that is the point where we got this term, the beginner's mind.
Any comments, questions?
Bhante, I'd like to say something about my walking experience. When I'm walking, I can feel all the muscles from bottom to top, how the movement of the muscles. And one day, when I see my walking, without my control, I was walking, and it's become very fast and end up with the running.
End up with the?
Something like a running. Without my control. When I see my walking, I don't know whether it's right thing or wrong.
So as far as you know what is happening, if it is happening still effortless, and if you know you are not sitting, you are lying down, but still walking, that the mindfulness is continuous. So you may not call it as walking meditation, but you can say mindful walking. Mindful walking is yes, but if someone is look at you, he or she will not say you are meditating. So I would like to separate the meditation and the mindfulness, separate. As far as you know what is happening, mindfulness is intact. That is the only thing you have to make sure.
Bhante, when I walk, during walking meditation, I do feel my feet. I feel the heel touching the ground, and then I feel my toes. I feel the earth, sometimes carpet, sometimes the sand under my feet, and I do feel one of the feet lifting up and moving on to the next step. Am I right?
So how long, how many steps you can continue with this kind of a detailed mindfulness?
About 20 steps.
If it is increasing, 20 to 21, 20 to 22, like that, that's the way you are facilitating it. So that means not only mindfulness, now the progress also happening. So go detail as much as possible. After a while, the mind will understand the synchronizing and go for longer number of steps or longer minutes in continuity. So much so your stream of consciousness is protected.
When I did start walking meditation, I had no idea. I was just walking. So I believe this is progress. I have another question, which the first note was mine. When I do sitting meditation and walking meditation, I see, if I'm walking, I see. The other day I saw the ant, but I did not analyze the ant. I did not think where the ant was. I noted the ant, and my mind was clear and focused. This happens while sitting meditation. A bus goes by at home. I note the sound, but I don't follow the sound and the bus. Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah,
Thank
because
you.
if the secondary object is a neutral one, mind knows how to come back. If the secondary object is very drastically desirable or undesirable, then only the challenge happens. So when the other sounds happen, for another person it may be of course a drastic thing, but that kind of a sound, specifically as far as sounds are concerned, if it is man-made, we are hating, we are fighting. Okay. If it is the natural one, no problem. For example, if you go to a place near the beach for the first time, you may see so much of sounds of the sea waves, no problem. And you are sleeping nearby a railway line when the trains are going, but no complaints. But someone is talking, then complain. That's our loving kindness. Any personal, any human, we never tolerate. Any other thundering sound, no problem. So these are the few things. So some people consider they are normal and indifferent. Some people consider as very abrasive and destructive. So slowly when you go ahead, you may understand when the mindfulness becomes steadfast, when the mindfulness becomes mobilized, you can cater for fairly challenging likings and dislikings slowly, just like number of steps indicate quantitative difference, improvement in your mindfulness. And if you are tolerating fairly disturbing secondary object, that's a qualitative kind of improvement in the mindfulness. So it goes in both the ways, quality and quantity, as you continue.
Thank you, Bhante.
I have a couple of basic clarifications about the second question. So when Bhante says noting versus effortless concentration, does noting mean like saying left, right in the mind, and effortless is you don't say but you observe the differences and the tactile sensation? Is that right?
Yeah, noting, labeling, these are the way that when the discussion is happening, I call Ananda, no one will respond, Ananda will be responsive, because I am calling by name. If I say someone, anyone, or something like that, I don't know who is going to come. So labeling and noting is adverting mind exactly to the point, sharp to the point, and then there's a kind of a control. So therefore, in the classrooms, when the teacher is marking the attendance, call by name. So only that particular person will respond like that. Our mind has kind of a commanding and demanding power if you can call it by name. When Jnanaponika writing The Power of Mindfulness, he says in Black Magics, if you call the devil by name, devil is surrendering. Yakka or Yaksani. To call by name. Calling by name is kind of a commanding power. When Venerable Mahinda, Arahant Mahinda came to Sri Lanka, he called the king by name, Tisa. Then king is surrendered because no one called him by name unless otherwise he's a superior one. So it's a kind of a technique. It's very nicely explained in The Power of Mindfulness. Of course, Venerable Mahasi Sayadaw came out with this idea. And there's another book by Calm and Insight by Saul Elleris. He says this naming technique and labeling technique made the meditation scientific. That is why it went to Western countries. Because you can start somewhere by labeling your particular object. And then he phrased Mahasi system, happened about 50-60 years ago. And it is almost going parallel with that naming and labeling system. But equally you must know when to drop that technique, how to use it up this much, and whenever it is not necessary you must drop it. That's also very important in naming and labeling.
So does that mean when you start the meditation you don't have to kind of, as I said in my question, you don't have to do it in a linear fashion, you just feel where you want to start, like how much detail you are observing, and you go with that.
At the beginning it says better to go as detailed as possible. That means your observing mind and the observed object become very close, so much of close, so proximity, so immediate. So ultimately there is no chances for thoughts to creep in, no chances for sounds to come and disturb you, no chances for pain to come and disturb you, because you are keeping so close. So more close approximate observation, you keep it off, all the distraction. If you are looking at a far away and a relaxed way, thoughts, sounds and pain come and distract you because there's a distance.
So if you are progressing, or one way to notice the advancement of walking meditation, is it the ability to notice a lot of detail, or is it the effortless concentration?
Your mic is not working, first thing. And the thing is, the advancement happened in breadth and the depth, for quality and the quantity. So therefore, at the beginning we do quantity. How many steps you can walk mindfully, and when and where the steps become face to face and you make sure fairly I can walk 10, 20 steps like, then only you try to do qualitative, the characteristics, the manner, the detail of the object. So therefore you have to understand, start with quantity, and later whenever time permits, you must try to have a close observation, immediate observation with characteristics. It's called the shape and the manner.
Just a quick clarification. So, Bhante mentioned earlier, if you keep close proximity from the beginning, then the thoughts will not come.
Not the beginning. At the beginning you have to do quantity.
Okay.
And proximity is a kind of a qualitative. For example, if you are nearing a hairpin or normal paper pin to a magnet, you have to push to a certain extent. And whenever you come to the magnetic field, it's suck. So likewise, you have to, at the beginning, mechanically you have to make the proximity. And once they come somewhat close, they start to work in a synchronizing way together, and there is a kind of a magnetizing effect. So then onward you have to let it happen in autopiloting mode. Till that you have to push. They are very subtle paces. I have my standard similes, but in practice it is not the case. Practice you have to be then and there appropriate method you have to use.
One last question. So as I said, if the mind is feeling lazy to do, do the noting.
No, I didn't hear you.
If the mind is feeling, so after a couple of rounds, if the mind is feeling lazy to note the left and the right, is it okay to kind of...
That's still, as far as you know, you are walking, you are not sitting down, you are not stand still, you are not sleeping, and let the body to walk without your commanding, without your labeling. That is called the effortless, but don't let the lethargic or sloth and torpor to set in. You must know the synchronizing. Whenever necessary, you note it, otherwise let the body to do by its own body knowledge, and that is the way we call the effortless walking. But it may be sometime opening the door to the sloth and torpor. So there you have to learn how to maintain the balance.
Can I ask a question? When I do my walking meditation, I start rapidly lifting, pushing, placing, and then the second stage is lifting, pushing, stepping, pressing. But all of a sudden, I find a sticky substance just under my feet. But when I look back, there's nothing that I have trampled. And it doesn't happen often, but it does happen a number of times.
I know, according to the Ayurvedic medicine, there's a sickness called hirivate. That means you feel like something sticky on your feet. So you rub, even then it is there. It is because maybe too old.
Possibly.
Hirivata is usually considered as the nakileda. So because my father had it. So usually he used to rub. He is not doing walking meditation. So then when you go to the Ayurveda doctor, it was kind of a hirivata because some nerves are not working properly. So it appears like something stuck there. So you can do reflexology instead. So reflexology massaging, so that all the nerve ends will work properly.
Okay, thank you.
Venerable Bhante, can you please explain a little bit more on the noting, like the quality of the noting? Does it has to be neutral? Basically, meaning I don't say that it is good or bad, or pleasurable or not pleasurable. So basically keep the noting neutral.
So noting and neutrality has no relationship. Can you please explain your question, what you mean by neutral? Noting means I am calling him Ananda. That's it. Whether it's neutral or that doesn't matter, it is just labeling. It's just labeling, noting. So neutrality of the object is the quality of that object. There is no relationship between these two.
Okay. So for example, when I have a sitting meditation, and when there is a thought that come in, so I note the thought, but I don't call it as a good thought or a bad thought.
So I will refine it further. As far as you cited an example, while you are sitting, thought happen. But if it is not disturbing your relationship with the primary object, so to say, my in-breath and out-breath, don't try to note it. Noting means asking it to come in. I am repeating, when you are sitting, for example, if you take the breath as your primary object, while you are breathing, you feel some feelings or a thought or sounds. As far as it is not crossing your path, as far as it is not distracting, don't label it, don't call it, don't name it. Naming and labeling is kind of a welcoming. So therefore, as far as they are at the periphery, don't try to note. You just keep on with left leg and the right leg. Rising and falling, or in-breath and out-breath.
Okay. Thank you very much, Venerable Bhante.
Welcome.
Just to get some more clarity on your inquiry, so what if there is a thought that is kind of more dramatic and you can feel the waves of it through your nervous system? Is noting the advisory thing to do with that?
That means
because you don't want to invite it in, but something needs to happen, right?
So if you are relating it with your sitting meditation, for example, if you select the primary object as in-breath and out-breath, a thought can happen. Sometimes thought may take you for a ride. You carried away. Under such circumstances, you know you are no more with the in-breath and out-breath. It's now thought. So that means thought is the most prominent, and the signal of the thought is more prominent than your in-breath and out. Under such circumstances, you note it. Because it says now you are off the track. And more you note, that means less and less you go into the content of the thought. You just not as thinking. If you are going to go over the content, that means again you are far away from the object, you are swift off or washed off. So therefore don't go for the content of it. You just thinking when compared to the sounds and the pain and the in-breath and out-breath. Your noting is very general term. No go for detail. More detail means you are promoting that kind of a thought. So instead you just say, I am off the track, that's it. And whenever possible, you come back to the primary object.
Thank you, Bhante.
Venerable Bhante, this is in relation to the previous question with regards to a feeling of stickiness. Sometimes some people say that they feel burning heat under their feet. Some people have said it happens while they're sitting. There is a nerve that goes from the spine, the sciatic nerve, and one branch of it goes to the foot. A lot of the time when there is compression of the nerve along the track at any point, that gives rise to these sensations. This is my understanding of the medical side of things. And a lot of the time, it's that moment when you apply pressure, the nerve gets compressed. After 4 or 5 steps, it stops getting compressed because you've realigned yourself, and then the heat, the sensations go away. Thank you.
It depends on the consistency. If the sticky nature is consistent, that may be some physical ailment. If the sticky nature comes and goes in few steps time, no problem. Heat and cold, heat bubbles and cold bubbles, lightness, stiffness, tension can happen. They come and go in a rational way. That means it is not something to be considered as a physical ailment. You just try to maintain your walking meditation amidst of all the kind of things. Don't note them, just understand that is a very clear sign you are mindful. If you are not mindful, whatever happened to your body, you don't know. You are in the past or future thinking about other person or other places, then you do not know. But here it appears like irritation, it appears like a torturing, it appears like a burning. But it's a very clear sign, mind is mindful. Because you are familiarizing your body sensations, so I would put it in this way, your body sensations will be amplified. It's a good sign of mindfulness, but unless otherwise you are clear in your mind, you naturally consider it as a burden. Naturally consider it as a irritation. Then they give up, they are waiting till there is no such cross currents. There is no such a word. Everywhere it is there. It is a very clear sign you are mindful. That is why these all tiny things become amplified, and take it, but don't lose your primary object. Just keep on with the primary object.
Thank you.
Next question. Next question, Bhante. Dear Venerable Dhammajiva, my posture is sitting and walking. My primary object of meditation is Anapanasati, mindfulness of the present moment, and walking. My concern or the background to the question is, during morning sit, I wasn't sleepy, but as soon as the breath becomes quite subtle, if a thought arises and I drifted to follow the inner chatter, even for a split second, I would suddenly nod my head off. Although I resolved to put more attention, the same thing would happen quite frequently within a 1 hour session. At times, it happens in the afternoon sitting session, but there would be a hong sound, subsequently occurring with an inner jerking, both in capital words, of the mind that prevent the nodding off. My questions are, there are 4 questions. Number 1, why the nodding off, and advice on how to manage it?
This indicates that as far as you are going with your primary object, no problem. But all of a sudden, the monkey mind jump into thinking. Moment you comes to know, now I am not in the primary object, you get a shock and come back to the primary object. It's a kind of satuppada. Whenever your mind or your interoception going to say and proving that you are no more in your main track, get a give a knock and bring back to your primary, because the mindfulness is more disciplined and decent than you. So that you get a shock. And again you make a determination not to go here and there, but again you don't know, without prior notice mind jump. And again with the knock it comes back. It is called satuppada. The mindfulness automatically come back, but never come back without give a knock to you.
The second part of the question is, what is the thong inner jerking phenomena?
So this is a kind of a reflect action, the return journey, and when you try to cope up with it, it slowly disappears. Not every time, for every people it happens. Some people get that, But don't worry, because you have to understand now mindfulness is gaining the grounds, and whenever it goes, still it is too late to understand or nip it at the bud level, it jumps. And when it is understanding I am off the track, naturally it come back, but with a jerk, but with a shock like. So keep on practicing. Don't take it as something abnormal. Ultimately, the mindfulness learn the art of nipping at the bud level. Soon it goes off, it come back. Then the shock is becoming less and less.
Bhante, the third part of the question is it okay if I use the walking posture as a substitute for sitting?
So the beginning of the question also completely disturbed, telling my posture is sitting and walking. You can't have two postures at a time. And then talking about the being here moment and the walking path, that means everything put into the together, that means clarity not there. So you can say, instead of sitting and be mindful, can I be walking and be mindful? Sure, no problem. Whatever the posture, we give different posture differences for the balance exercises. But some people find stand still. They can meditate 3 hours, 4 hours, and after a while body become like a wax or settle. And your body maintain its posture. If you have sleeping problem or pain, that kind of thing can stand still. Or you can do while walking. Or just before going to the sleep in the lying down position also you can do. But for the beginners, recommend sitting and walking. Not the stand still and the lying down. But they are possible, 2 options, and you can do. But in a residential retreat like this, we recommend only sitting and walking, but definitely you can do walking meditation and be mindful.
The last part of the question is there an ideal ratio for walking and sitting? For example, 1 hour walking to 1 hour sitting, or 1 hour walking to 2 hours sitting. Thank you, Bhante. Much metta and gratitude.
So when you are doing a group, we recommend 50-50. Because that many people, not only the traditional Buddhists, they consider meditation means sitting. Whenever you have the idea of meditation, they want to cross-legged, close-eyed, hand upon hand, that is the figure they get it. But then, under such circumstances, walking meditation they consider as a wastage of time. Therefore, whenever they go sit, their sleepiness sets in, pains and all happen, but if it is not alternative with walking, this becomes very sour in taste or bitter in taste or astringent in taste. If you mix up with the walking and sitting, then it is not so difficult. So therefore, specifically in the insight meditation, giving a 50% chances, so 50% weight to walking meditation, that is the general standard. But as you continue, you may adjust it so that your mindfulness is steadfast. You can do as you like once you introduce mindfulness.
Any questions, comments?
Venerable Dhammajiva, that question was actually from me. I was asking whether I should substitute walking meditation since I'm nodding off during my sitting in the morning. So can I do walking meditation instead? Because I feel if I do walking meditation, I can focus on the detail. Like I can see like this lifting, and then the air element is light, and then I can feel all the fire going. And then when I can see all the tut, 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 and then as it drops, it's like there's a magnet in the foot and it goes, and then when it touches, the other leg starts to lift. And I can see that in detail, but if I sit, I just spend my time nodding and nodding and nodding.
So to answer this, you have to understand the energy aspect and the concentration aspect. when you are in a meditation, specifically a beginner, often the energy and the concentration not in balance. If the too much of concentration and lack of energy, the collapse of your posture. Too much of energy and lack of concentration, you be erect and mind is dispersed, mind is agitated. So how to balance is a kind of a secondary thing according to your personality trait. Some people are born with enough agility and energy, so they wanted to have conducive postures, meditation for the concentration. But some people are with the concentration, but they don't have enough energy. For them, the walking-like situation, so you have to practice. It's a one way of tackling the question. The other one is, if you can see tiny differences, posture junctions, and in one step there are, in a dropping, it's a series of droppings. It is not happening in one pieces, and it is happening in many series. Under such circumstances, mind become very mobilized, energized, and then if you go and sit, that agility, that mobility, that energy will help you to maintain the mind without sloth and torpor. And even in sitting meditation, you can go into detail. In sitting meditation's moment, the mind is to see the detail of the in-breath, out-breath, beginning, middle and end. Then again the nodding and the sloth and torpor disappear. So you have to harmonize, keeping in your mind walking is for the energy, sitting is for concentration, samadhi. So how to balance it? It is called Indriya Samatta Patipadanata or Indriya Samata. How to maintain these two, so to say, 5 horses running the cart. The driver should know how to make use these horses to run the cart in the balanced way. Likewise, they are not, naturally they are not harmonized. You have to balance it with the practical and pragmatic kind of observation.
Modern Bhante.
Bhante, just some feedback about what you just said about sitting and walking. I certainly was subscribed to that view for many years, that the real meditation was sitting meditation and walking meditation was, an interesting aside. But, when I first came across you and you suggested that I really should be focusing more on walking meditation and developing the mindfulness, this is going back 5-6 years now with you, I took you seriously at your comment, and I really started to get some benefit. And what actually it started to do was it brought a sense of tranquility into my sitting meditations. So what I did today, what I've been doing with the retreat so far, is a lot of walking meditation and almost like abstaining from sitting meditation very much, little bits of sitting meditation. But it was always with a game plan to actually then go into sitting meditation. So, for the past 3 days I've done a lot of walking meditation. And today I did a walking meditation before breakfast. After breakfast, just sat and just, a reasonably good long solid sit for me is like 3 hours plus. And that's a reasonably, consistent, like that's not moving or doing anything. Today, what I want to say to you is like a piece of cake. It was cruisy. It was easy to do, whereas historically, when I've done it in the past, it's been a struggle with pain at times. And so I was wondering if it works like this, that almost like the walking meditation is like you've got a bow and you pull the strings back and you get you build up the sort of the energy or the tension, or and then you let go, and then the arrow shoots deep into a sense of deep concentration. Is that the way? Can you work it like that? That you really go solidly with the walking and then move into that helps you go very deeply into the sitting. Is that
very, very difficult to make a formula like that. You have to understand walking is the warming up and the sitting is your event. For an example of an athletic, you have to do warming up, and then only you go to the event like that. So you must understand how much warming up and how much you must use the energy for the real competition. So this kind of thing happens, but they are circumstantial. Very difficult to say always it is going to happen like that, or you can't draw any formula like that. So more and more you practice, you understand it's not the matter of difficult faculties, it's a matter of harmonizing among the faculties. Whenever they are harmonized, the comprehensive or the collective energy is becoming double, triple, 4 times like. When they are fighting each other, they are killing each other. So therefore, how to put all the energy and the concentration in a directed way, it is the difference between the vegesa pravegya. In English it is called speed and velocity. The speed is disorganized thing. Velocity is, it is directed. So this is the kind of a discipline, and the difference between the piece of iron and the magnet. In the magnet everything is on one direction, so it is always pulling to the north side. But the iron exactly the same, but their atoms and the particles are disorganized. So this earning things and the organizing thing and directing, we are energy-wise, basic potential-wise, possibilities-wise, we all are all the same. But those who have discipline to one direction, then you can make use that energy. So you have, it is not an science, it's an art. How to put them into the one directed or disciplining into that side, and then you find that your capacity going superhuman or more than human capacities, because they are directed. So walking and sitting, generally talking about the energy aspect and the concentration aspect, but success in your meditation, but not really depending on these 2 variables. There are a lot of other variables, so you have to understand different combinations, and it is a lifelong experiment.
Thank you, Bhante.
Here, in front.
Thank you, Bhante. That was really helpful. Do you have any more tips for harmonizing or doing the discipline? Because I normally can sit for an hour very, very easily, meditate really regularly, but this retreat, I can't do anything but sleep. And I just keep going to my room and doing a lying meditation, and I'm good. But I just want to sleep all the time, so I don't know. Maybe I just have to go with it. But if there's any tips, like maybe fasting or paying better attention to the energy.
Can you see the relationship with the sleepiness with respect to your primary object?
Maybe my primary object is to sleep.
Yeah, if it is so, it's very nice because you are not naughty.
Right.
While you are sleeping, you are not naughty. It's good. But the only thing is you can't live all the life sleeping because you have to earn something. So what I am asking is, whenever you have to find the relation, whenever the mind is associating one object, the sleepiness, the lethargic nature can creep in. So you have to understand the sleepiness start right from the beginning or after a certain amount of abiding with your primary object. That means you can start with the primary object, all of a sudden, without any prior notice, you fall into sleep. And if it is so, you have to go prepared. If I am not go prepared, the sleepiness will be the thing. So when and where mind is going to the same object again and again, it's more conducive to be sloth and torpor, sleepy. But if you go prepared, then you can understand as the object becomes subtle, the sleepiness becomes increasing. The subtlety of the object is going with the boredom and the kind of monotonous, and then the sleepiness can creep in. If that is the case, it's an advancement in meditation. You have to understand the hiding mind or slippery mind versus the sleeping mind. So to understand that, you have to keep the track with your primary object. In walking also that can happen. In walking meditation also, sometimes you sway, you can't maintain the track, and that kind of thing happen. I put it in this way: whenever our mind is not agitated with the desire and the hate, mind is sleepy. Whenever you are bright and open, that means huge amount of desire is there. So much so as mind is lustful and desirous, it's very bright. And if the mind is full of anger, it's very bright. When the meditation, when you associate the same single object, the desire and the anger calms down, then the sleepiness comes forward. So you have to observe it with respect to your primary object. Do you have any kind of observation?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just being lazy. I don't know.
No, that is the way you interpret.
Yeah.
That's a lazy kind of interpretation, I would say.
It could be just that being here is very just like peaceful and safe and relaxing.
That means your mind is not much agitated by the desire and the hate. Mind is fairly in the middle area. Then the sleepiness happens. But it's an achievement, it's an endowment, it's a result of your mindfulness. So if you are not prepared, you are not making use of this opportunity. How to be awakened, how to be aware into this slimy mind, the monotonous mind. It's a kind of an art.
So how do you prepare? Or what would you recommend?
Be prepared. When you are sitting, you can understand when and where mind is repetitively going to the single object, you know it, then the danger is there. The sleepiness can come in. So therefore, you are successful, you are putting effort, you are try to keep the mind, knotting mind with the knotted object. But meanwhile, that success may invite the sleepiness to come in. If you go prepared, you are safe.
Thank you.
That's a kind of a single term I can give, the preparedness. And that is what the first rule in scouting and in the Girl Guides. Be prepared.
Okay.
That is why the Buddha says, apamada, be diligent. So when the meditation keep on, specifically the concentration sets in, if you do not know the theory, if you not go prepared, mind may find an excuse to fallen into that slimy mind and the sloth and torpor. But if you go prepared, you can see it is a result of your meditation, it's an endowment. So go prepared to low ebb of your energy, but still you are aware.
Thank you.
Go to the next question. Next question, Bhante. Dear Venerable Bhante, sorry, I might actually, there was a question relating to what Chris was asking. Shall I go to that question? I think this was towards the end, but I brought it forward. Dear Bhante, could you please highlight the transition from faculty to powers, especially with the mindfulness and energy factors of enlightenment? It says I have some personal examples and questions too. Actually, it is from, he has written the name as well here. It's from Chris.
So the basic question is, in the 37 factors of enlightenment, across the adjustment, 4 foundation of mindfulness, 4 kinds of striving and success ways, 4, and then 5 faculties and 5 energies, 5 powers. The 5 faculties means 5 characteristic, 5 personality traits. Like some people are running or maintaining the spiritual life just simply with faith. They are doing out of faith. And some other people they are striving, they have energy, so keep on practicing without getting discharged, without getting discouraged. The other people go with mindfulness, even discouraged, I know. Even over-energized, I know. Even the lack of faith, I know. Even more faith, I know, like the awareness. And some people are going with concentration, others are with the wisdom. So these are kind of 5 moods or 5 personality traits. So the person with faculty of faith, for example, even other things are not much encouraging, never lose the faith, keep on, and some or the other continue. Some or the other maintain the meditative life. And they are called faculty of faith is taking chair, taking the leadership, even the lack of energy, lack of mindfulness, lack of concentration, lack of wisdom, no problem. The other person would take with energy as the leading faculty or character. Likewise, there are 5. But whenever it is coming to the powers, the Venerable Sariputta is explaining, asaddena kampatiti saddha balang. The day you understand, I have no faith, I am very critical or very analytical, and you feel it is not good for your career, but you understand, I am very skeptic, no faith, but even unshaken. You have no saddha, but unshaken, that's the power of saddha. Next is, you are so sleepy, slimy, sloth and torpor. But even then you understand, it's not me, I am not go for sleep, but it is happening. So it is not, main thing is not to worry. I keep on practice. So the day you understand, even you are lethargic and slimy and congealing, you understand, you don't make a point to be discouraged. That is called power of energy. And the mindfulness, you are not, even if you are unmindful, oh, well and good, no problem. So you are not shaken, you are not carried away, you are not discouraged. That's called the power of mindfulness. And the concentration, the mind is utterly scattered. And you know, yesterday it was very nice, today is, but even then you consider this is the nature of mind, it's the universal law. So don't worry. Main thing is not to worry. Even the mind scattered, you continue, that's called the power of concentration. And the wisdom, you know you are utter fool. I can't remember, these old people are talking this and that, I have no anything, but still, you are unshaken. You are ready to accept it, that's your wiseness. Understanding amount of foolishness is your wisdom. That's called power of wisdom. So that means the way that through the matter you try to understand the antimatter. You never consider the antimatter as negative thing. So understanding the lack of faith, lack of energy, lack of concentration, lack of mindfulness, lack of wisdom, main thing is not to worry, because they are happening not according to my agenda. You must understand the lack of faith is the nature of human mind. Unshaken, not carried away. That is called power of 5 faculties. So whenever you go there, you look at it from a distance as if a third person. You see the faithful mind and the skeptic mind. You feel the lethargic mind and fully energetic mind. You feel full of mindfulness or sometimes unmindful. Sometimes fully concentrated, sometimes fully scattered. Sometimes you feel like a very wise person, sometimes you feel like completely ignorant, stupid. No problem. So this is the way you understand, you embrace the totality. Not only the bright side of the picture, the totality. So it's a kind of it's called power. That understanding unfaith situation is the power of faith. Understand the unmindfulness is the power of mindfulness. Understanding the lack of energy is the power of energy. So this is the point that the turning point in your rational thinking, you are ready to accept anything.
Bhante, what you're really saying in that description there is there's a point where you get to develop the capacity to tolerate paradox in each of these 5 abilities. It is good, it is bad, and I am both.
Yeah.
Number 1. 2, you're also saying that I'm not personally fusing with any temporary mental, emotional state. That it's like weather that's just passing through and I'm not going to associate or make a sense of self out of it. Am I correct in those 2 assumptions?
You are not assuming. You are not assuming the lethargic nature as me. You see, it will pass by an energetic moment, and the lack of faith will be followed by another episode of faith. So you are not assuming. You are ready to accept it. So this is available in our combination, but we never use it because we consider it is something negative, or it is bad, or it is not along this rational way of thinking or linear way of thinking. So this is the point, you try to accept the totality, the system.
That gets back to what you were talking last night about.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing. The reason why I also asked that question was you made a comment last night or the night before that mindfulness is flexible. It's not what necessarily we think about it in one single way, that it actually grows in our capacity to perceive or experience mindfulness, grows with our capacity to develop mindfulness. And you made the comment, it was a throwaway comment a couple of days ago, that if you can use mindfulness when it gets strong to lead you into deep meditation. In other words, you don't know where you're going, but if you put your money on mindfulness, it will know, even though you don't, where to go. I'm wondering, so I'm understanding that as, I'm interpreting that as the power of mindfulness. Mindfulness has become very strong. Can you say a bit more about that sort of sensing of mindfulness in the places of deep meditation where, you know, we don't consciously know where we're going, but the mindfulness does?
The mindfulness is that you are in a chauffeur-driven car, driver is sure, he's a professional driver, you can sleep. He is a professional. So the day you give the hand, day you give the chair to the mindfulness, nothing to worry. We are suffering in this samsara. We never give the chair to the mindfulness because the faith is very colorful, competitive, and ask the mindfulness to get out, I am the chair. And the energy also the same kind of the radical character. And mindfulness never fight. It's accommodating, it's like a water. Wherever you pour into the vessel, it takes the shape of the vessel. So mindfulness is, internally it is brighter, but never competitive. That these things, I am so grateful to Venerable Jnanaponika. If you read only the 2 pages of the power of mindfulness by Venerable Jnanaponika, the way he gives the description, I never see any traditional Buddhist so far given. So I sometimes say 50% of my decision to become a monk because of this book. Venerable Dhammika, he was an Australian monk from Melbourne. He gave this book. Unlucky enough, my English was not so good at that time. So somehow or the other he got a singular version and he asked me, I can't teach you, please read it. And it says mindfulness, never fight for the chair. But if you some or the other, if you are smart enough to give the chair, give the post to the mindfulness, nothing to worry.
Bhante, it's actually more than smart enough to give it to mindfulness. There's another quality that you have to make that transition, and that is trust in mindfulness.
And
you understand what I'm saying?
Jnanaponika says, even if you give the trust to the faith, it is incredible, sometimes it is divulging energy. But if you trust mindfulness, mindfulness never divulge you. Never lose, ever finding ways and means to reinstall mindfulness and go forward. So otherwise I am an utter bumpkin, a village lad. I know any qualities. But I am not going to say now I have qualities, this is a separate issue. But I am telling, whenever the mindfulness came into my life, you don't feel, you don't believe how it traces the least frictional path, how it traces the comfort zone. Everything happens because you see the least frictional path. When you are proceeding, all the other qualities are coming. And I find very difficult to communicate this with the people because they are believing faith, they are believing energy, they are believing concentration, they are believing wisdom. So attribution is 5 fingers. You have to see all the other fingers are otherworldly. Middle finger is the strongest to the infinitum. It is not crooked. All the other fingers are crooked. The faith, energy, faith, concentration, energy and the wisdom, they are outward. But the mindfulness is to the infinitum. It's very strong. When in the center, it sees how the other buggers, other fellows are doing, and never judgmental, be aware. So whenever Jnanaponika says, to bring the mindfulness to the chair, there should have a omniscient knowledge with the Buddha. He is the only person straightened this and mentioned. And that is why he put out of 37 factors of enlightenment, very first 4 factors are for foundation of mindfulness. And once that is come, every other follow suit. So we'll go to the questions anyway.
Thank you.
Dear Venerable Bhante, my posture is sitting. My primary object of meditation is in and out breath. In a good session, I note the in and out breath as a breeze in my nose. In a good session, I feel calm and present with the in and out breath. My concern is, today I feel very frustrated. Lots of energy in my body. There is a huge difficulty in being mindful and a big attraction to distractions. For example, beautiful trees, appreciation of birds, a feeling to talk and laugh and connect to people, and wanting to go on long, vigorous walks. This attraction to enjoy the world around me feels so strong, and the mindfulness practices are feeling in comparison very boring. And my questions, number 1, how do you suggest I manage the big energy in my body that just wants to move? Number 2, how can the mindfulness exercise becomes more attractive to me than the beautiful trees, nature and connecting with people? With gratitude and blessings.
One lady met another lady and told, you don't know, darling, I see a beautiful tree. Then the other lady asked, where? Just in front of my house. Well, she is mindful. When you are mindful, whole world is greeny. More greener than yesterday. Ultimately, that itself becomes a distraction. So it's a contradictory thing. When you become mindful, it's very lively, it's very energetic, it's very mobilized. And people appear very attractive. Birds are very, very lively. World is very greeny and you feel so much of loving kindness. And all of these things are to distract you from the present moment. So how to learn the art? All your qualities come just to distract the present moment. Any moment you take this lovely bird and kind of thing without understanding it's an endowment of mindfulness, ultimately they all credit will be liabilities in long term. But anything you achieve, anything your qualities, anything your potential become a distraction for the present moment. Because the present moment is so simple, so humble, so straightforward. All your good qualities crooked. But it is an endowment. So how to put this paradox and maintain the mindfulness? That is why it says it is going against the grain. All are good. But don't put the cart before the horse. Then no go. You have to understand, still maintain the mindfulness. That's the cursor. Keep the mindfulness intact. Don't let the Venerable Sariputta, I think, gave a very nice example. As far as the elephants are concerned, there are 7 castes. Very crooked animals, and the Kumari caste is the highest, the biggest elephant, and it is very good for warfare, and kings are using. And it has 7 points touching the ground. His penis, foreleg, and the trunk, and the tail. There is Hatpolya. Hatpolya means 7 the things are touching the ground. That is it's a feature. So his trunk is almost in front of the 2 legs. So it is moving, but elephant never tramp or jump, step upon the trunk. But if it is so, that will be the end of it. So the trunk is very long and very in front of, never step upon that. Even if it goes to the water, keep the trunk up. So that's way, all the qualities are good as far as it is not make you eccentric. As far as it is, it understand, this is due to my mindfulness, therefore don't put other qualities in front. Moment it happens, you become crooked. All the other characteristics, you will engage with the society, engage with the other moments, other people. So mindfulness is the one to suffer. So therefore balancing it is like maintaining your tongue in between 32 teeth. Don't bite. Teeth are very strong, so you have to understand how to use the tongue without biting by all the teeth. So mindfulness itself is, it needs so much of wisdom to always keep in the arrowhead formation at the tip. Then nothing to worry.
Any questions, comments? Any questions, comments? Next question, Bhante. Venerable's posture, my posture is sitting. Primary object is Anapanasati, in and out breath. Question, there are 2 questions. By being mindful, achieving a calm and peaceful state, which I do, does wisdom develop? If so, can you please explain the process?
So this calm and peaceful state is the wisdom. Otherwise you are in an agitation. So how to maintain it? Maintain it, how to sustain it? Or you can say earning the calm and peaceful state is mindfulness, as sustenance of the same thing is the wisdom. If you can maintain it for a longer time, so much so it is precipitate, calm and quiet. You can claim that yesterday it was few minutes and today is more minutes or more hours. So slowly increasing. So therefore they are going fairly hand in hand, but this way you can see their functions separately. So maintenance or continuity of the peace and calm or contented state is the function of wisdom.
The second part of the question, Bhante, in walking meditation and being mindful and being in the present moment, which I do, Does wisdom develop? If so, can you please explain the process? Thank you.
So if your number of steps increases day by day with mindfulness, that's a clear indication you are a wise person. So not in a steady, in a sequential manner, but in general, if you can claim, yesterday I walked 3 steps mindfully and then wandered off, and today I managed to go for 4 steps, 5 steps, or 3 minutes, 5 minutes, like it's increasing. It is a very, harmony is a very subtle thing. And maintaining this harmony is utterly a wisdom. So therefore, make sure number of steps increasing, or number of thought moments increasing, time increasing. So it's a very clear indication, because as far as you mindful, so much so, the stream of consciousness is free of tension and the frustration. And if it is longer, it precipitates, it becomes very established, and once that happens, it is working in a capitalistic system. At the beginning, the earning of the capital is very difficult. Once the momentum gathered, it's naturally come. So, beginning is painfully slow.
Any comments or questions? Next question, Bhante. Dear Venerable Dhammajiva, in the past I have only done sitting meditation for 30 minutes to 1 hour per day. At this retreat, the schedule has many. I have sitting and walking sessions per day, and I find it difficult to attend all of them as my daily action, and my mind wanders. My question is it better to attend all meditation sessions or skip some if they become too difficult as a beginner? I might read it again, sorry. My question is it better to attend to all meditation sessions or skip some of it if they become too difficult as a beginner? How many sessions should I try to attend as a minimum? Thank you, Bhante.
It is the one day it happened me to go to Colombo. Colombo is our capital city, and I am attending my teacher. And in the midday, after he is taking a rest, I used to go in front of in house. There was a little shrine room. I used to sit, and just in front there's a highway. So much of sounds, trucks and everything is going. Soon I start drowsy and sloth and torpor. When another senior monk came and told, "You are just wasting time. This is not the time for meditation. So much of sounds and you are sleeping." Then I told, never mind. This is the only time I get it. And so I found this is the only time I have, and it is full of external distraction, and the fan is rotating, katakatas, 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 katakatas. And without the fan also difficult. And I am sleeping. That other monk also came and criticized. And after that, I went to the monastery. Soon I get into the forest, I feel the calmness. With contrast to this Colombo experience, then I told, without that I don't feel the forest is so calm. So this contrast make your mind is wider, so therefore try your maximum. It's very difficult. At the beginning it's very difficult, but if you're going to give excuses, no end. So therefore you hard-earned the full-time retreat or residential retreat. Mind may not be prepared for that kind of thing. So all the sessions are not equal. Sometimes for me, between the breakfast and the lunch is the best. But the evenings, I find difficulties. But later I found it is also changing. So with respect to the difficulty only you can see the good sittings. With respect to the difficult walking only you see the good sitting. So therefore make you sit as much as possible But don't torture yourself. This is the way called restraint. This is not the restraint pertaining to morality. This is something related to the concentration. Whatever the tactics and whatever the ways and means pertaining to the morality or precepts, never applicable to the concentration. It's another set of rules. So you have to see what is the most beneficial thing to get. You must give all the combinations. And early also there was one occasion I would take here now. Sometimes you feel the mind, you feel the breath very calm and quiet. And then there you feel it's very desirable, and according to Achan Brahm, it is beautiful breathing. Breath is very beautiful. In Sinhala we call Asvasaya Aswada Janakaya. But the Buddha says this is one aspect, is this desirability, but you must know undesirable breath, otherwise you can't contrast. And you must know the gross breath, then only you can understand the subtle breath. So 11 facets. As far as the primary object is concerned, of course it is related to all the 5 aggregates. The desirable, undesirable, hina panita. Gross and subtle, the olatika sukuma. Internal and external, you can't see breath. It appears like far away. Sometimes, internal and external, sometimes you feel here the breath. Sometimes it appears like something outside, or sometimes inside the brain. Sometimes you feel far away, sometimes it's close back, come closer. Sometimes you see breath is disappearing, something you feel appearing, something you see here and now. So 11 facets. Unless otherwise you know 11 facets, you can't claim you know the breath. If we analyze in the rational mind, out of these 11 facets, 6 are bad, 5 are good. So if you are only going to tackle the 5, that means you will never see the subject. Majority are 6 out of 11 are we call bad. But it's a very important aspect, pillars, to understand the whole picture. So therefore don't be judgmental. Whenever possible, don't make excuses. Keep on practice. Later on you will understand all your mistakes are the immediate teacher, not the success. So all the difficulties must, and I would say in meditation nothing called mistakes. Everything is important, and in Sinhala I know the term, it is called huratale. Everything is a huratale, but whatever the children doing, nothing wrong, because it's a huratale, because that's their way. In the meditation also, everything is necessary. So therefore don't be judgmental. Try to be with the good and bad, gain and loss, pain and pleasure, all the kind of thing, and mind you, your mind can accommodate. If you prepare the mind, slowly, slowly.
Any comments or questions? This is the last question in English. And, Dear Venerable Sir, I have a technical question related to the first Dhamma talk you mentioned. First Dhamma talk. You mentioned 5 practices that must be undertaken in order to develop spiritually. I can only remember the first 3, which are morality, listening to the Dhamma teachings, and the Dhamma discussion with the teacher. My question is, what are the other 2 practices, please? Thank you for your patience and for the very precious gift of the Dhamma. With metta and gratitude, there's initials.
So this you can read in the Anguttara Nikaya, the gradual sayings, book of 5, it says 5 anuggahita, that means 5 ways to facilitate your the wide view, correct view. First thing is morality, second thing is theoretical knowledge, third thing is the discussion, fourth is development of the concentration, fifth is development of wisdom, samatha bhavana, vipassana bhavana, and with the help of the early 3, just by listening you can't. So you have to, as the last letter mentioned, Even if you get all the possibilities, there may be a lot of difficulties and unexpected things. So you have to strive through. And then only you will understand what are the possibilities, what are the conducive conditions for the concentration to happen, what are the possibilities and conducive conditions for the wisdom to happen. So these two also important. These are the two things we have to add into the list.
That is the end of the English questions, Bhante. And just to remind that there is only one Sinhalese question, and after the end of this question, the video will be screened again with the Sinhala dialogue. ගරුතර ස්වාමින් වහන්සේ කරුණාකර ධ්‍යාන සහ සතිය පැවැත්වීම අතර ඇති සම්බන්ධය හෝ වෙනස්කම් පහදා දෙන්න. ඔබට නිවන් සුව පතමි.
සතිය දිගට පවත්වාගෙන යනකොට තමන්ගේ චරිත ලක්ෂණය අනුව තමන් චේතෝ විමුක්තිය අනන්ද පඤ්ඤා විමුක්තිය අනන්ද කියන පාරවල් දෙක පැහැදෙයි. චේතෝ විමුක්තිය යනකොට උඟක් වෙලාවට අර්පණ සමාධි රූප ධානය අරූප ධානය ලබාගෙන යනවා. පඤ්ඤා විමුක්තිය යනකොට එහෙම එකක් ඇත්තේ නැහැ. ධානයක වගේ දෙන්නෙන් දෙයා concentration නැත්නම් momentary concentration කියන්නේ ක්ෂණික සමාධියක් ඇති කරන යනවා. ඒ නිසා මම පිළිගන්න විදිහට මේ දෙකෙන් කොයි එකට වුණත් අවස්ථාව ප්‍රස්තාව ලැබලා දෙන්නේ සතිය වැඩිවොත් තමයි. නිසා සතිය දිගට පැවැත්වීමට සමාධිය කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්. ධ්‍යාන කියලා කියන්න පුළුවන්.
ප්‍රශ්න හෝ තියෙනවද?
Here first. That lady. First.
අවසරයි බන්තේ. ඊයේ ධම්ම ටෝක් එකේදී සරති විවරති උත්ථාන කරෝති කියලා තුනක් ඇහුණා. අනිත් එකවත් මේ
දේශේති declaring.
Bhante, I really appreciate if you could define or give some clarity on the term unmindfulness. That is, when someone is unmindful, does it mean that the mindfulness is not there, or he or she is mindful on some other thing than the primary object?
It depends on the definition you give to the mindfulness. For example, if you are a newcomer and you are being given a task to be mindful on breathing and mindful in the walking, and you find all the time you can't keep the mindfulness. Whatever you call not mindful is we call the unmindful situation. So it depends comparative or relative to the definition of mindfulness.
In that sense, is it possible to have some kind of partial mindfulness as well, like when we are dealing with the pain and the primary object, let's say this breath is the primary object and we are dealing with the pain as well. So in that situation, we are trying to see the breath through while undergoing the pain. So is it like a partial mindfulness, or is it instantaneously you are fully mindful and the next moment you are not?
You can think about the disappearing part of the breath, disappearing part of the out-breath. You are sure, so much you are mindful, and then you try to be mindful, but there is no object. The object is unperceivable, and then the mind give up and go, let go, or give up and go, and then you know, after a tail end, after a while, it is you are not mindful. Again, you can be mindful in the next in-breath. So likewise, there is a kind of a area, that's a place where you can develop. That is a place where you can add your skill, ways and means to continue. So we do a experiment, mindful game for the children. I have a ringing ball. I think there may be some here also. You know the singing ball? When you strike it, it's give a gradual development of the gradual cessation of the sound. So I asked the children to sit calm and listen to the sound. And they are very shouting and rattling and they can't wait. So sound never appear properly. So second time I said, no, you can't do it. You have to be mindful, slowly, silently. And then when they are listening, you can see the disappearing sound. And then I said, okay, now you know. And now it's the third time. And again disappearing. And fourth time. And one girl mentioned, each time you go, I can go more and more to the tapering end. So early part, you don't know, you have not geared, you have not adverted. So therefore easily mind give up. And if you get the third, fourth, fifth, you can go. And even then you are not expert 100%. Still there is a tapering in. So one girl, then in the Melbourne when we asked him, at the end of the sound, what do you experience? What happens? He says, now listening to the silence. Listening to the silence is irrational. End of the sound. That means you are listening but not hearing. Get the point? Yes. You are attentively listening but nothing here. So you are very alert. So as far as there is nothing to hear, you feel like you have no mindfulness, but that is the best mindfulness, and that is the way you can think or give some definition for the grey area. And when I asked, how do you experience? And that lady, girl told, Bhante, your body and mind be utterly aligned to listen to the end of the sounds. That's the young people interpret it. So you can understand by exercising, you can go to this grey area, slowly go, and then that is the place the advancement happens. You can compare it with the last gong, last ringing sound and the next. So when you keep on, no end. No end. More you practice, more you become refined. So there is a kind of a grey area.
One other question, Bhante. While walking, we are supposed to keep our eyes open. So even if I start my eyes open, after a number of steps, my eyes automatically closes to a certain extent. I mean, it's very much closed, but it is controlling the amount of opening. Sometimes it becomes fully open, sometimes very little open, and so on. So basically the control of the eye, I don't have. So it is automatically happening. Is it something that is predictable, or is it something that I'm doing incorrectly?
Do you think other faculties are under your control?
No, I know that.
Then what is the question?
I know that, but
so the way you understand faculty by faculty, it is also not under control. This is also not under control. That is also not under control. Ultimately, your wife will say, you are totally not under control. So this is the reductionist system, elimination system. Take one and not under control. There is the next and not under control. So it's a kind of a null hypothesis you are proving. When you prove 95% null hypothesis, accepted. So that is what we call, you have an appointment with the disappointment. So never get disappointed.
Thank you, Bhante.
So everything is contradictory, everything is ambiguous. So that is the joke, that's a joke, that's going against the grain. So if you are very serious, you will never be a good meditator.
අවසරයි ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ සිංහල ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන්න. මම ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේගේ මෝගරාජ සූත්‍රයේ කරපු දේශනාවක් සමන් දුන්නා. කීපවතාවම සමන් දුන්නා. ඉතින් අර ඒකේ කියන විදිහට මායයට අසු නොවි අපි බලන්නේ කොහොමද කියන එක මන් තේරුම් ගත්තේ මම දැන් ඉස්සරහා බලන ඕනම රූපයක් මම කන්නාඩි දෙයක් දාගෙන හිටියා නම් මගේ කන්නාඩියට වැටෙන ප්‍රතිබිම්බය තමයි මගේ ඇහැටත් වැටෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඒ කන්නාඩිය මගේ ඇහැ ඇතුළේ තිබ්බනම් ඒක මට දැන් කණ්ණාඩියෙන් අපි දෙයක් බලනකොට ඒක ඇත්තක් නෙවෙයිනේ. ඒ නිසා මම මේ ලෝකේ බලන හැම විදිහෙම කණ්ණාඩියේ හැරෙන විදිහට බලනකොට ඒක මං කිසිම ලේබල් එකක් දාන්න නැතුව බැලුවොත් මේ ඒක බලන ක්‍රමය හරිද සවන්වංශ?
එහෙම තමයි අපි පටන් අරගන්නේ. ඒකට කියනවා අපේ ඇහැට පුළුවන් මුළු ලෝකෙම බලන්න. නමුත් ඇහැට ඇහැ කවදාකවත් පේන්නේ නැහැ. අපි ඇහක් තියෙන බවවත් දන්නේ කන්නඩියෙන් බලන්නේ. නැත්නම් කවුරුර කියලානේ. ඒනට අපි මේ ඇහැ විශ්වාස කරනවානේ. කවදාවත් විශ්වාස කරන්න බැරි යකා. තියෙනවද නැද්ද කියලාවත් දන්නේ නැහැ. ඌට ඌව වෙරිෆයි කරගන්න බෑ. ඒ වගේ තමයි ඇහි අන්ධ බින්දුවට වැටෙන මොකක්වත් පේන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් දෙකක් බලලා දෙත් එක බලලා තමයි කරන්නේ. කනේ කම්බරට ඇහින්නේ නැහැ. හැම ඒ ප්‍රසාද ඉන්ද්‍රියක්ම මේ ලෝකෙට අයිති නැහැ. අපි ඒ ටිකෙන් තමයි මේ මුළු ලෝකෙම මනින්නේ. ඒක නිසා තියෙන දේ පේන්නෙත් නැහැ, පේන දේ තියෙන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඒ නිසා ද්වේතානුපස්සන සූත්‍රයේ සර්වචන්සේ කියනවා දේශනා කරනවා පෘථග්ජනය යමක් තියෙනවයි කියලා කියනවනම් ඒක ආර්ය ලෝකයේ ඇත්තේම නැත. ආර්ය ලෝකේ යමක් තියෙනවයි කියනනම් පෘථග්ජනය මරණකම් කෑ ගන්නවා එහෙම දෙයක් නැහැ කියලා. ඒ තරම්ම මේක උඩුකුරු යටිකුරු වෙච්ච ලෝකයක්. ඉතින් එක ජීවිතයක් ඇතුළත ඔය පෘථග්ජන භාවයේ ඉඳලා ආර්ය භාවයට යන්න පුළුවන්ද කියන එක පෘථග්ජනයා කියන්නේ බෑ. අපි ගියා රිට්‍රීට් එකක් කරන්න අම්බුළු ආවෙතන එහා පැත්තේ එළු ගාලක් තිබ්බා. ඉතින් ඌ දිගට උදේලා බෑ මම උටන টොප් එකට තේරෙයි. බෑ. කරගෙන ගියාට පස්සේ අන්තිමට අර පැත්තට ගියාට පස්සේ හිතනවා අපි දැන් මේ ඉන්න ලෝකේ තනිකරම මායාවක් මේක අපි නෝම් එක කරගෙන ජීවත් වෙනවා කියලා කියන්නේ මේ කට්ටියත් එක්ක ඉන්නකොට වෙන පචවීම. අර පැත්තට ගියාට පස්සේ තියෙනවා මේක මායාවක් ඒක තමයි ඇත්ත ලෝකේ කියලා. එතකොට මේ කට්ටිය කියනවා මට පිස්සු කියලා. ෂුවර්නේ? කිව්වේ නැත්තම් තමයි යේසුස් වහන්සේට කුස්සියට දාලා ගැහුවා. කාටද මේ කෙනඩිට වෙඩි තිබ්බා. එතනින් ගියාම සොක්‍රටිස්ට වහ දුන්නා. එකෙක්වත් මේ ලෝකේ තියන්නේ නැහැ. මොකද තිබ්බහම මේගොල්ලන්ගේ ඔක්කොම බොරු වෙනවා, එළි වෙනවනේ. ඒක ඌව මරනවා. බුදුරජාණන්සේ විතර ෂේප් එකේ අවුරුදු 80ක් හිටියා. බුදුම බුදු ගුණයක් ඕගොල්ලෝ කවදාකවත් නොටිස් කරලා නැහැ ස්වභාවික මරණයක්. වෙන කිසිම ශාස්ත්‍රුන් වංශනමකට ලැබුණේ නැහැ. මොකද going against the grain. ඒකෝර මිනිස්සු අවුස්සනවා. මේ දෙකම දැනගෙන ලෝකේ අවුස්සන්න යන්නත් එපා. හැබැයි මේ ලෝකේ මේ ඉන්ද්‍රයන් ඒව ලෝකෙට අයිති දේවල් ඒව පෙන්වන්නේ. එයාට මේ අපේ ලව්ව જાතියව කරන්න විතරයි ගේම් එක තියෙන්නේ මේ. දෙයට මතක තියාගන්න මේ පරිණාමයේදී අපිට මේ ඔක්කොම තෙල්ලන් ටික දාන්නේ අපේ ජීන් එක තව කෙනෙකුට දීලා මැරෙන්න. එහෙම නැතුව මේ පැවැත්ම මිසක නැවැත්මක් ගැන මේක නෑ. ඉතින් බුදුරජාණන්සේ ඒ ටූල් එක පාවිච්චි කරලා නැවැත්මක් සඳහන් කරන නිසා බමුණෝ බයිනවා බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේට අපගබ්බෝ මේ ගබ්ස කරන ධර්මයක් දේශනා කරන්නේ කිසිම රසයක් අඳුරන්නේ නැහැ කිසිම ලස්සනක් දකින්නේ නැහැ කියලා බුදුම විතරම බුදුහාමුදුරු ඉනායලක ඇත්ත තමයි කතාව කියන්නේ. හැබැයි උඹ කියන මීනින් එකේ නෙවෙයි වෙන මීනින් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා මේ මැෂින් එක පාවිච්චි කරලා අපි ඕකේ ඇත්ත දකින්නයි කියන එක බුදු කෙනෙක් නැති කාලේ කොහොම කරන්නද? ඒ නිසා බෑ. ඉතින් මේ 60ක් ඉන්න එකමයිද කියන්නේ එහෙම එකේ. මේ කියන්නේ මෙච්චර බෑ කියන ලෝකේ කමන්න ෆයිට් එකක් දෙමු කියන්නේ. ඉතින් මුන්ට මල් තියලා වදින්න ඕනේ. ඩායිකෝ කණ්ඩ දීලා වැඳලා යන්නේ නිස්සන්වනේ කියලා. උන්ගේ අතින් කණ්ඩ දෙව තල්ලි ගෙනල්ලා දීලා මේ නන්නා දුන්න කෙනෙකුට දීලා වඳිනවා මේ යෝගාවචරේ පස්සෙන් පස්සට දුවනවා. ඒ ලෝකයක්. ඒක නිසා කියනවා සෝබාලංකාරේ මූනේ Tamanට දැක ගන්නට බෑනේ. ඒ නිසා බලන්නේ ඒ ශ්‍රියාව කැඩපතට එබීලයි. අපි මේ මූණත් අඩුව හදුවට කොච්චර කණ්ණාඩියක් නැතුනොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ? ඔක්කොම මූණත් අඩුව හදලා ඉවරන හොටු කැල්ලක් තිබ්බොත් මොකද වෙන්නේ නැහැ? දැකමිනියට කියා ගන්න විදියකුත් නැහැ. ඒ මනුස්සයා නායක කෙනෙකුට තේරුම් ගන්න ඕනේ නේද? බැන්න කරදී කණ්ණාඩිය මූණට අල්ලපුවා අන්න මේ කරගෙන යන පිස්සු ඔය ජෝක් එකේ මිසක් ඔය සීරියස් ගත්තොත් නම් පිස්සුමයි. ඒ නිසා ගාන්ධිතුමා කියලා තුනා මේ ලෝකෙ මෙච්චර දුක තියෙද්දි කෙලින් හිටලා තියෙන්නේ හාස්‍ය තියෙන නිසා කියලා. මේ ඔක්කොගේම රහස මේ සාහිත්‍ය රසයක් තියෙනවා. අපි කෙලින පිස්සුව මේකයි කියලා අපි සාමාන්‍ය මට්ටමට දැනගත්තාම දුක නම් තමයි ඇත්තම තමයි. නමුත් මේක වැටෙන්නේ නැතුව තියෙන්නේ අපි මේක සාහිත්‍ය රසයක් තියෙනවා, හාස්‍ය රසයක් තියෙනවා. බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ ඒක ලස්සනට මතු කරලා පෙන්වනවා සූත්‍රවල. ඒකට ගොඩාක් පාලි දැනුම තියෙන්න ඕනේ. පණි වර්ඩ් පන් කරන්න. පුදුම විදියට ශාස්ත්‍රීය ඥානයක් තියෙනවා. ඒක වර්ඩ් එකට two meanings දීලා ලස්සන කරකොල ගහපුවාම අපිට හොයාගන්න බෑ කොහෙන්ද අපිට සත්‍ය අන්තුල දුන්නේ කියලා.
ස්තුති ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ. තව එකක් තියෙනවා. මේක මේ තවත් ගාතාවකින් මම තේරුම් ගත්ත විදියක් හරිද කියලා දැනගන්න ඕනේ. පද දෙකයි දන්නේ ඒකේ අතීතං නාං වාගමෙය නප්පටිකංකේ අනාගතං කියලා ගාතාවක් තියෙනවා. ඒකේ එතකොට ඒකෙත් ප්‍රකාශ වෙන්නේ දැන් අතීතය කියලා දෙයක් නැහැ. අනාගතය කියන එකක් හම්බෙන්නේ නැහැ. වර්තමානයේ කියන එක අපිට මවලා පෙන්නයි. එහෙම එක වර්තමානයක් කියලා බැලුවොත් ඉතින් හැම චක්ෂණයකම ඇති වී නැති වී යන මොහොතක්. ඒතකොට වර්තමානෙකුත් නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒක මාව පේන වර්තමානයත් අතහැරලා දැම්මාම නේද මේ එහෙම බලන්න කියලා.
ඒක තමයි මූල ධර්මානුකූලව කියලා දෙන්නේ ඒකයි. කරත්ත රෝදයක් කරලා කරනකොට බලන්න පොළොවට ගැටෙන තැන තමයි බර අල්ලන්නේ. ඒක නිතරම පහු වෙනවනේ. ඉස්සර එන කෑල්ල ඊගාවට බර ගන්න ඉන්නවා. ගිය කෑල්ල බර ගත්තා. නමුත් හරියටම බර ගන්න තැන හැම වෙලාවෙම මාරු වෙන නිසා වර්තමාන මොහොත මෙහෙම නිකන් දෙකක් එකට හැප්පිලා මේ පිට වෙන තැනක්. ඒකත් මාරු වෙමින් තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අනික් දෙපැත්ත නෙවෙයි වැඩේ ගෙනියන්නේ. හරියටම වර්තමාන මොහොත. ඒකත් බොහොම ශීඝ්‍රයෙන් වෙනස් වෙනවා. ඒ නිසා බුදුජානසේ ඒ කාරෝ කියලා නමක් දීලා තියෙන සතියේට බර ගන්න අරේ විතරයි වැඩේ කරන්නේ. අනිතව ඇලයින්මන්ට් එක කරන් දෙන එක විතරයි කරන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඊතරම් සතිය තියාගෙන පුළුවන් නම් වර්තමානයේ එනද එළඹ සිටි මොහොත ඒක ඔක්කොටම සමානයි. මම කියන්නේ අපිට මිනිස්සෙක් වෙන්න ඕන නම් එතෙන් යන්න ඕනේ. එතන තමයි බුදුහාමුදුරුවෝ ඉන්නේ. අතීතෙත් නෑ අනාගතෙත් නෑ. ඉතින් අපිට වර්තමාන මොහොත අකැපනම් අරුචි නම් කද්දාකත් බුදුන් දකින්න හම්බෙන්නේ නෑ, ධර්මයේ දකින්න හම්බෙන්නේ නෑ, සංඝයා දකින්න හම්බෙන්නේ නෑ, සීලයක් පිටන්න හම්බෙන්නේ නෑ. ඒ නිසා පුළුවන් තරම් වර්තමානට තියන්න. හැබැයි ඒකට බැඳෙන්නත් එපා.
ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ මේක මූලධර්ම පැත්තෙන් තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒ කියන්නේ ආයතන 6 ගැන තියෙන ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒ කියන්නේ අහලා දැනගත්ත මේ වගේ දේ. ඒ කියන්නේ ආයතන වලින් එක මොහොතකදී දැන් අපි මොකක් හරි අපිට දෙයක් පේනවා නම් ඒ වෙලාවට අපේ ශරීරයේ ඇත්තටම තියෙන්නේ ඒ ඇහි පේන ටික විතරයි. ඒ ටික විතරයි තියෙන්නේ, අනිත් හැමදේම නැහැ. එතකොට මේ පේන දෙයට මොකක් හරි පේන දෙයකුත් විඥාණයෙන් හදලා දෙනවා. අර මේ ඇහැ කියන එකත් විඥාණයෙන් හදනවා. එළියත් විඥාණයෙන් හදලා පෙන්නනවා. හැබැයි ඒකට තැනක් කියන්න බෑ කොතනද විඥාණය පහළ වෙන්නේ කියලා. ඒතර මොහොතකදී එහෙම පේනවා. දැන් එතකොට අපිට මොකක් හරි දැනෙන දෙයක් නම් එතකොට අර ඇහැයි පේන දෙයි නැති වෙලා අපේ ශරීරයේ යම් දැනෙන තැනක් ඇවිල්ලා ඒ දැනෙන දෙයක් අපිට මේ මොහොතේ දැනෙනවා. ඒතර මේක එහෙම බලපුවම يعني මේක වේගෙන් වෙනවා. ඒතර අපිට එක මොහොතක් ගත්තාම අංග සම්පූර්ණ ශරීරයක් කියලා එකක්වත් අපිට නැහැ. ඒතර විඥාණයම තමයි කියන්නේ මුළු ලෝකෙම අපිට හදලා කියන්නේ විඥාණය පහළ වෙන තැනකුත් නැහැ. හැබැයි මේ එයා පෙන්නනවා අපිට එයාට පහළ වෙන තැනක් නැති වුණාට අපේ ආයතන 6 එකක් එක මොහොතකම අවලා එයා අපිව හිර කරලා තියෙන ආයතන 6 ඇතුළට අපි මේක ඇතුළේ ඉන්නේ කියලා. ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් පැහැදිලි කරන්න පුළුවන් ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ.
ඒකට කියනවා විඤ්ඤාති මාත්‍රතා සිද්ධි කියලා. යෝගාචාර කියලා මහායාන මේ වෙනම නිකායක් තියෙනවා. මේ මුළු ලෝකෙම විඥානයේ විසිමවන ලද්දක් කියලා. විඤ්ඤාතියක් කියලා. බහුකාර්යයක වැරදිලා විඤ්ඤාති මාත්‍රතා සිද්ධි එන්න ඕන නම් විඥාන මාත්‍රතා සිද්ධි කියලා මේකට පරම විඥානාර්ථ කියලා අනගාර ධර්මපාලතුමා අයින්ුනේ බ්ලැවර්ස්කිලාගෙන් ওই ප්‍රශ්නේ මත. ඔක්කොම විඥානයේ විසිමවන ලද්දක් කියන එක. ඉතින් ඒකේ පොතක් කරන් කියවනේ ඥානසී ආමතු ගොඩක් ලියලා තියෙනවා. යෝගාචාර එහෙම නැත්නම් විඤ්ඤාති මාත්‍රතා සිද්ධි. ඒකට මේ අපිට පෙන්ලා දෙන්න පුළුවන් දර්ශනය තමයි කාටුන් චිත්‍රපටයක පොඩි ඉරිකැලි ටිකක් පෙන්නපුවම මිනිස්සෙක් පෙන්නලා වෙනවා. බල්ලෙක් ඇඳිනවා, දුවනවා, පයින්නවා, ඇනිමේෂන් එනවනේ. එතන ඇත්තේ නෑනේ. එතන තියෙන ඉරිකැලි ටිකක් විතරනේ. ඒ ඉරිකැලි ටික අපි මවා ගන්නවා මේ මිනිස්සෙක් තමයි, මේ අත දි ගන්නවා තමයි කියලා. එතන කාටුන් චිත්‍රකාරයා අපි නිකන් අවුස්සන එක විතරයි ගන්න. අපි තමයි කාටුන් චිත්‍රය හදාන්න බලන්නේ. ඒකල අපි අර ඇඳවු මනුස්සයාට ස්තුති කරනවා. අම්මෝ දක්ෂ කාටුන් කාරයෙක් කියලා. ඌ කියයි උඹ වාගේ මැට්ටේ. තුගේ තක తీරුකමට තමයි කාටුන් චිත්‍රේ ඇනිමේෂන් යන්නේ. ඇනිමේෂන් යනකොට ස්පීඩ් එක අඩු කරන්න බෑ. දර්ශනයක් නැහැ. ලස්සනක් නැහැ. සෝකාන්තයක් නැහැ, දුක්ඛාන්තයක් නැහැ. නැද්දකින් විතර ප්‍රොජෙක්ටර් එක ඇදලා කියලා බයි. අර ඔක්කොම ගානට යනකොට තක తీරුවට ලොකු ආස්වාදයක් ලැබෙනවා. ඒක නිසා මේ අපිට මේ දෙයකට ඔක්කොම ඕනේ අපිට ඕනේ පොඩි තල්ලුවක් විතර පුංචි දෙයක් විතර ඊට පස්සේ අපි ඒකෙන් තමයි කන්ද කෙන්ද කරගෙන කතන්දර ගොතන්නේ. ඔය නොබෙල් ප්‍රයිස් බෙල් එක තියෙන ප්‍රයිස් එක දුන්නත් නැත්නම් නොබෙල් ප්‍රයිස් උනත් පිස්සෝ තමයි නැගිටලා ගන්න. මේ පිස්සු කෙලින මිනිස්සුන්ට උඩ ගිහිල්ලා තියෙනවා මේ සාහිත්‍ය රචනයි අර නිර්මාණයි මේ නිර්මාණයි කියලා. බුදුජානන්සේ කියනවා මේකේ මේ ලෝක වඩඩකෝ මේ ලෝකේ වර්ධනය කරන්න යන මිනිස්සු සුසාන වඩඩකෝ කියලා. අන්තිමට වවන්නේ උ වැඩිපුර සුසාන ප්‍රමාණයක් විතර උ ජාතිය බෝ කරලා තියලා උමුත් මැරලා යනවා. සුසාන වඩඩකෝ. චිත්‍රේ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා දැනගන්න විදියක් නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ බාහිරාවර්ති. මේ සිද්ධිය බලලා මේ ඇතුලේ මොකද්ද වෙන්නේ කියලා බලනකොට ඒ කියන ඒකේ දැම්ම කරන්න බෑ දුවට බබෙක් හම්බෙන්න ඉන්නවා අපිට පස්සේ කරන්න මාත්‍ය රට ගිහිල්ලා ඌව බල බල ඉඳ වෙලාවක් නැහැ. දැන් ඒ ටික කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා කියනවා. බයිසිකල් එක අරගෙන දුවනවා. මොකද මචං ඔක නැගලා බලන්න. උඹට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔක නගින්න ගියාම වෙලා යනවනේ කියලා අරගෙන තල්ලු කරගෙන දුවනවා. මේ ආදිස්සිය පවුලට බබෙක් හම්බෙන්නේ මේ වින්න බොම් හම්බෙන්න යන්නේ. ඉතින් මිනිස්සේ කන මොකද සිටිතේන කොහෙද යන්නේ? කෑ ගහන්න බෑ මම පාරේ ඌව කියන්න බෑ. මොකද බබෙක් හම්බෙන්නේ. ඉතින් ඔක නැගලා බලන්න. යකෝ ඕක නැගින්න ගියා වෙලා යනවා තේරෙන්නේ නැද්ද? අරගෙන දුව මුළු මනුස්ස ලෝකෙම ඔච්චරයි. පයිසල් නැගින්න ගියා වෙලා යනවා. ඒ නිසා අරගෙන දාලා යන්න බෑ පයිසල්. ෆිනෑන්ස් කරලා ගත්ත පයිසල්. අපි යන්න මේක බලන්න පික්චර් එක බලන්න. ක්වෙස්චන් එක අත ඉස්සෙවරන. last chance. ඔව්. නැත්තම් නිින්ද යන්නේ නැහැ මන්ද.
ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේ සද්දා විරිය සති සමාධි ප්‍රඥා පැහැදිලි කරනකොට ඔබ වහන්සේ කිව්වා ඒක සම්බන්ධයි moods වලට කියලා. නමුත් මම අහලා තියෙනවා ඒ ටික අපි හැමෝම සමබරව දියුණු කරගන්න ඕනේ කියලා එකක් තියෙනවද?
ඔය සම්බර නැත්තම් අපිට අහේනියට හිටිනවා. අපිට වෙලා තියෙන එක තමයි. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ fragmented mind, split mind, partial mind. utter enemy. ඒකට ක්‍රිෂ්ණමූර්ති හොඳ ලස්සන නමක් දාලා තිබුණා මේ දෙකට බෙදලා ඒ දෙන්න රණ්ඩු කරන එක අපි කරන්නේ. මේ ඔක්කොම එකතු වෙච්චාම ලස්සන වැඩක් කරන්න පුළුවන් මනසක් තියෙන්නේ. අරකයි මේකයි ගැටුම. ඒ fragmented වුණාට පස්සේ ගන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. පුත්තජන කියලා කියන්නේ fragmented. දිගටම fragmented. ඒ නිසා අරක තියෙනට මේක නැහැ, මේක තියෙනට ඒක නැහැ, හාමොනි එකක් ඇත්තෙම නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒකට ඒ මනසට වෙන හතුරෙක් ඕනේ නැහැ, හූනියමක් ඕනේ නැහැ. යා විසීම තමන්ගේ වලිග අපාගෙන මැරෙනවා. ඒක තමයි පුත්තජනියක තියෙන වටිනාකම අම්මපා තෑගි දෙන්න වටිනවා. උදේ ඉඳලා හැන්ද වෙනකන් ඕකමයි වලිග උඩ ඉඳගෙන කියනවා ඉඳගෙන ඉන්න බෑ රිදෙනවායි. ඉතින් කියනවා නැගිටලා වලිග ගසා දාලා වාඩි වෙනකෝ. එහෙම බෑ. වලිග උඩමයි ඉන්නේ. අපේ අම්මට ඕක යන කියලා මට ඉලපතෙන් ගහන්න ගියා මං මැනිගේ වලිග පොඩ්ඩක් අසල දාලා වාඩි හොද්දටම කේන්ති ගියා. හරි මහා ඉඳගත්ත ගමන් ගොඩිය ගොරවනවා. අම්මට ඇහෙනවලු බුදියාගෙන ගොරවනවා. මං කව වලිග උඩ ඉන්නේ. හරියට කේන්ති ගියා. යන්න පික්චර් එක බලන්න. Now we are going to go to walking meditations and can someone switch off the light please? after the film.
අපට සතිමත්ව සිටීමට විශේෂ තැනක් වේලාවක් හෝ විශේෂ ඉරියව්වක් අවශ්‍ය නොවන බව. ඔබ වාඩි වී සිටින විට, හිටගෙන සිටින විට, හාන්සි වී සිටින විට හෝ ඇවිදින විට, එහෙමත් නැත්නම් ඕනෑම දෛනික වැඩක යෙදී සිටියේදී ඔබට සතිය පැවැත්වීමට පුළුවන්. නමුත් අද අපි කතා කරන්න යන්නේ සතිමත්ව ඇවිදින්නේ නැත්නම් සක්මන් කරන්නේ කොහොමද කියලා. වසර 2600කටත් වැඩි ඈත අතීතයේ සිට බෞද්ධ භික්ෂූන් හා භික්ෂුණීන් වහන්සේලා සක්මන නැතහොත් සතිමත් ඇවිදීම තුළින් ලැබෙන ඉමහත් ප්‍රයෝජන පිළිබඳව දැනගෙන හිටියා. උන්වහන්සේලාට මානසික මෙන්ම ශාරීරික සෞඛ්‍ය මනාව පවත්වාගෙන යාමටත් සිතේ එකඟ බව හා පැහැදිලි බව දියුණු කර ගැනීමටත් සක්මන උපකාර වුණා. මේ නිසා ආරණ්‍ය සේනාසනවල ඇතුළත මෙන්ම එලිමහනේද සක්මන සඳහා පහසුකම් සලසා තිබෙනවා. දැන් බලමු අපි කොහොමද මේ සක්මන ප්‍රගුණ කරන්න කියලා. ඒ සඳහා මුලින්ම අපට සුදුසු ස්ථානයක් තෝරාගත යුතු වෙනවා. මෙය ගෘහස්ථව හෝ එලිමහනක පුරුදු කරන්න ඔබට පුළුවන්. එලිමහනක නම් වැලි සහිත පොළොවක් හෝ තනකොළ සහිත පොළොවක් හෝ මේ සඳහා තෝරා ගැනීම වඩාත් සුදුසු වෙනවා. අද අපි මේ සඳහා යොදාගන්නේ වැලි සහිත පොළොවක්. පියවර 20ක් 30ක් පමණ ඉහළටත් පහළටත් පහසුවෙන් ඇවිදියා හැකි ඉඩක් මේ සඳහා අවශ්‍ය වෙනවා. හැකි සෑම විටකදීම පාවහන් නොමැතිව සක්මන ප්‍රගුණ කරන්නේ නම් වඩාත් සුදුසු වෙනවා. ආරම්භයේදී කිහිප වතාවක් සාමාන්‍ය ලෙස ඉහළටත් පහළටත් ඇවිදීමෙන් සක්මන සඳහා ශරීරයේ කර්මණ්‍ය කරගත හැකි වෙනවා. ඔබ සක්මන පටන් ගැනීමට පෙර ආරම්භක ස්ථානයේ නිසලව හිටගෙන මොහොතක් ගත කරන්න. ඉන්පසු ඔබගේ අත් පහසු ආකාරයකට තබා ගන්න. එනම් දෙපසින් පිටිපසින් හෝ ඉදිරියෙන් එකිනෙක බැඳ තබා ගන්නට පුළුවන්. නමුත් සාමාන්‍ය ඇවිදීමකදී මෙන් ඉදිරියටත් පසුපසටත් අත් පැද්දීමෙන් වළකින්න. දැන් ඔබ සතිමත් ඇවිදීම පටන් ගැනීමට සූදානම් බවත් මෙතැන් පටන් ඔබට බාහිර ලෝකයක් සමග කිසිදු ගනුදෙනුවක් නොමැති බවත් ඔබගේ එකම මිතුරා සිතී ඇති සතිමත් බව පමණක් බවත් හොඳින් සිතට ගන්න. දැන් ඔබගේ ඉරියව්ව දෙස හොඳින් මනසින් බලන්න. ඔබ ඉඳගෙන හෝ හාන්සි වී හෝ වෙනත් කිසිම ඉරියව්වකින් හෝ සිටිනවා නොව හිටගෙන සිටිනවා පමණක් බව දැනගන්න. ඔබගේ දෙපා පොළවේ ස්පර්ශ වන ආකාරය විඳගන්න. ඔබගේ ශරීරයේ බර දෙපා අතරේ සමව බෙදී ඇති ආකාරය වටහා ගන්න. දැන් හිස මතක් පහතට හරවා දෙනෙත් තමා ඉදිරියේ මීටර 2ක් පමණ දුරින් වූ බිම දෙසට යොමු කරන්න. නමුත් බිම ඇති කිසිවක් දෙස විශේෂයෙන් නොබලන්න. දැන් ඔබ සතිමත් ඇවිදීම පටන් ගන්න. සාමාන්‍ය වේගයෙන් ඇවිදින්න. ඔබ ඔබගේ ශරීරයටම වේගය තීරණය කරන්න ඉඩ හරින්න. ඔබ දැන් ඇවිදින බව පමණක් දැනගන්න. ඔබගේ අවධානය ශරීරයේ පහළ කොටසට යොමු කරන්න. පාදයන්ගේ චලනය වෙත අවධානය යොමු කරන්න. ශරීරයේ බර පාදයෙන් පාදයට වම සහ දකුණ වශයෙන් මාරුවන ආකාරය මනසින් දකින්න. ඔබගේ පාදයේ බිමට තබන විට යටිපතුල පොළොව සමග ස්පර්ශ වීමේදී දැනෙන දෙය මනසින් දකින්න. ඔබගේ යටිපතුලේ එක් එක් කොටස කෙරෙහි අවධානය යොමු කරන්න. විලුඹට, යටිපතුලේ මැද කොටසට, ඇඟිලිවලට ඔබට දැනෙන්නේ මොනවාද? ඔබට පොළොවේ ඇති රළු බවෙහි හෝ මෘදු බවෙහි වෙනසක් දැනෙනවාද? නැත්නම් උණුසුමෙහි හෝ සිසිලසෙහි වෙනසක් දැනෙනවාද? සක්මන් මළුවේහි කෙළවරට පැමිණි විට ආපසු හැරීමට පෙර දෙපා එක ළඟටගෙන මොහොතක් නිශ්චල වන්න. ඉන්පසු සෙමෙන් ආපසු හැරෙන්න. ඔබ දැන් ආපසු හැරෙන බව දැනගන්න. දැනීම සහ මනසින් දැකීම ඒ සිදුවීමට පෙර හෝ පසුව නොව සිදුවන මොහොතේදීම දැනගැනීම ඉතාමත් වැදගත් වෙනවා. මෙසේ ඔබ සක්මනෙහි යෙදෙන විට ඔබට ශබ්දයක් ඇසුනොත් හෝ ඔබ යමක් දුටුවහොත් හෝ ඔබගේ ඇවිදීම ගැන සතිමත් නොවුනොත් ඒ සාමාන්‍ය දෙයක් ලෙස තේරුම් ගන්න. සිත් කරදර නොගෙන නැවතත් ඔබේ අවධානය ඇවිදීම කෙරෙහි යොමු කරන්න. ඔබ සක්මන් මළුවේ කෙළවරට පැමිණ නැවතත් හැරෙන සෑම විටකදීම ඔබ දැන් හැරෙනවා යන්න දැනගන්න. සිතට නොඑක් සිතිවිලි පැමිණි විට ඒවා බලෙන් බැහැර කිරීමට උත්සාහ නොකරන්න. නමුත් එම සිතුවිලි ඔස්සේ දිගට සිටීමෙන්ද වළකින්න. සිතුවිල්ලක් පැමිණි විට ඒ බව දැනගෙන එයට යන්න ඉඩ හරින්න. මේ ආකාරයට සක්මනෙහි යෙදෙන විට දැනෙන ලිහිල් බවත් සැනසිලිදායක බවත් විඳිමින් සක්මන කරගෙන යන්න. මෙසේ සක්මනේ යෙදීමෙන් පසුව පරියංක භාවනාව නැත්නම් වාඩි වී කරන භාවනාව ආරම්භ කිරීමට වඩාත් සුදුසු වෙනවා. එසේම දිවියේ එදිනෙදා කටයුතු සතිමත්ව කරගෙන යාමටද සක්මන මහත්සේ උපකාර වෙනවා. ඔබට නිවසේදීද මෙම සතිමත් ඇවිදීමේ යෙදීමට පුළුවන්. එයින් ඇතිවන සතිමත් බව පසුව පර්යංක භාවනාවකට රැගෙන එන්න. ඔබගේ නිවසේ අනිකුත් අයටද ඔබ සමග එක්වන්න ඉඩ දෙන්න.
Yes.
Ante, you spoke about the wisdom aspect in that question, and my question is, does that when we do the sitting meditation and the walking meditation and develop wisdom that way, does that improve the wisdom aspect of the Eightfold Path as well? Improves?
I can't hear you.
Sorry, Bante. No, we spoke about the wisdom factor that improves with sitting meditation and walking meditation. And my question is, when we develop this sitting meditation and walking meditation and wisdom develops, does the wisdom aspect of the Eightfold Path develop as well? And does the Sammaditthi and Samma Sankappa also develop at the same time? Or is that a different thing?
I would say understanding your foolishness is the wisdom. How difficult to keep the track with one thing. So you will understand how much I am disorganized, how much I am no persistence, consistency. And the day you accept it, that is what you call Sammaditthi. Understanding my Vijja is what you call Vijja. Vijja means the wisdom. Understand? I can't maintain this such a open that the lack of tension and frustration part is there. It's anyone can do, but how much my mind is wandering, daydreaming, fantasizing, and accept it. Understand it's how colossal, how big, how crafty, how cheating, how perverted. That is what you call Vijja, or the wisdom. So that is, I would say, that is a Sammaditthi. And knowing that when you are planning or anything, you know that it is impermanent. So I have no much hard and fast thing. I know, no adhanagayi duppati nissagi, not something too hard, fast, and something I can give up. Everything is floating, so no much of a adamentation, live with and share with others. That kind of thing happen as a result of it. That is called samma sankappa. Hard to accept that you're foolishness. Am I correct? No, maybe you break the rest today, night. If I want to explain further, to whole our efforts is to understand how much I am fool, how much I am distracted, how much I am wandering, how much I am this thing, and then no problem. In the Salayatana Vibhanga Sutta, the Buddha says, wisdom is, the foolishness is rest upon the wisdom. The other part of the foolishness is the wisdom. Counterpart of the foolishness is wisdom. So much so you understand your weaknesses and difficulties, so much so you are wise. You will know, under overestimation, nothing, you become very natural. So that is what you call, as far as you are innocent, you are in the paradise. As far as you are crafty, you are chaste, away from the paradise. So be innocent, be simple, be straightforward. That is what you call the Dhamma. Bad question and bad answer before the bed. Wait, 1 minute.
Bhante, I'm just wondering, in reality, is there Pataviyapo Tejo Vayo, or is that part of the magic show?
The reality itself is a magic show. Your reality is not my reality. We are different, we are living in different universes, multiverse. So what you take it as reality, you have to define.
Yeah.
According to the context, and then only we can communicate, otherwise your reality is not my reality. That is why so much of divorce.
Yeah, it's just that one day when I was doing Tai Chi, my mind was very, very concentrated, and then suddenly this me, it just stopped. It was just a statue. And then in front of me like that, I see the image of me performing. It might have been just a couple of seconds, I don't know. And the next thing is, I couldn't feel a ground to walk on. So that made me think there is no Pataviyapo Tejo Vayo in reality. And then another friend of mine, she's a very deep meditator. After a deep meditation session, she was crying because she couldn't feel the ground at all. So I'm just wondering whether there is, in fact, Pataviyapo Tejo Vayo.
That depends. According to your mood, according to your status of meditation, your reality is something changing. Anicca. How can we say this is hard and fast? So much so you are depending on the permanent notion. Then the theories, formulas, fighting, fragmentation, fundamentalism can happen. If everything is changing, when you are communicating, you have to define what do you mean by reality, what do you mean by four elements. Because they are not related to the suffering. They are theoretical terminology. The case is how to get rid of this frustration, how to get rid of this tension. It's a more organic thing. So the Buddha is addressing to what is the frustration, what is the tension, and if it is there, he says this is the way out, relatively. Please continue so that you will gradually getting rid of it. Not in the theoretical maximum, but slowly going. So whenever this reality and four element things are happening and come into being, it's a iatrogenic effect. It's a disease happening due to the medicine. You have to understand the suffering and lack of suffering, or getting rid of suffering. then the reality of all elements is not an essential, unavoidable part. They are just part and parcel of the theory. Start with this, the friction, the torturing, the burning, the wear and tear, the unsatisfactoriness. If that is sure, or the day you accept it, way out is there. If you are not accepting, if you are not ready to start with this thing, you will be turning around like try to catch the nose from the right round instead of direct touch. So be aware of the present friction, the present tension, present wear and tear, that the day you ready to accept is, you are a different person. You are not avoiding it, you are confronting it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we will take few minutes as we trained, accustomed for the last 2-3 days. We are going to share the merits with all the seen and unseen beings, and we are going to chant, recite the traditional stanzas. Those who know may follow, others may listen attentively. Ettavata changamme hi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata changamme hi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ettavata changamme hi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu sasanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desanang. Akasattha ca bummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mang parang. Idang vo jnatinang hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idang vo jnatinang hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Idang vo jnatinang hotu sukhita hontu jnatayo. Imina punya kammene mamiya bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammene mamiya bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Imina punya kammene mami bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.